Welcome to the College Admissions Process Podcast presented by Prep Expert. Prep Expert offers live online SAT and ACT courses with the best score guarantees, instructors, and curriculum. Go to prepexpert.com to guarantee your child's success. Welcome to the CAP, the College Admissions Process Podcast. I am your host, John Durante, and it gives me great pleasure to introduce you today, Nickala Hagarty, who's the Associate Director of Admission at Susquehanna University. Now, we had Susquehanna on the podcast back on episode 21. That was in April of 2022. So, Nickala, I'm so happy to have you here to hit the refresh button on Susquehanna University. How are you?
John, thank you so much for having me. I'm really excited to be a part of this podcast. I'm doing well.
Fantastic, and we're excited to have you. So, can you share, Nickala, what's new on campus since that last episode with Susquehanna in terms of any exciting new developments or even some upcoming projects?
Absolutely. So Susquehanna is doing a ton in terms of different academic department updates. So we've updated our graphic design studio space. We have a new criminal justice major. We have a new data science major. We're doing a ton of building updates, location updates. Susquehanna was built in 1858, so doing some updates to some of our buildings. We have a brand new locker room setup that was done this summer. We're doing a massive campus center renovation over the next 4 years. So I'm really excited for all the improvements that are coming to campus.
Well, that's terrific. You got new majors in criminal justice and data science, not to mention all of the renovations. And we always say that, when people are renovating and building, it's a great sign as the university continues to grow and thrive. So, what would you say are your most popular offerings to students in terms of academics and your student organizations available on that beautiful campus?
Absolutely. So, especially for some of our academic programs, biology, our Sigma Y School of Business is huge here at Susquehanna. We're also really known for programs in graphic design, education, creative writing is something we're also known for, communication. So, definitely from a variety of different niches and popular programs, we really excel at in a variety of ways. Some of our student organizations, Susquehanna is 120. So, there are a lot for people to pick from, and they vary from things like Spike Ball Club, which is pretty popular. And we have a luxury brand marketing and management club, women in business. So it really just depends. We also have really thriving Black Student Union as well as our Association of Latinx Students. So Susquehanna is definitely busy in a lot of ways in terms of club and organization programming.
Well, that's awesome. A lot of academics. You mentioned biology, your awesome business school, education majors, communication, again, just to name a few. And along with those, over 120 clubs. So there's definitely, a lot to do, not only in your classrooms, but beyond. So what students and parents really want to hear about, though, is that application review process. So let's talk about your holistic review and what specifically does the admissions team look for when reviewing those applications?
Absolutely. So Susquehanna definitely echoes the holistic review process. We want to look at everything that makes a student because for every student that looks a little bit different. That might be quantity of involvements where you're in a little bit of everything, or that might be that you're a caregiver at home or you have a job to assist your family. So in whatever your student situation looks like, looking at what that really encompasses and the type of person that you are and the type of student that you are. So looking at rigor of courses, are you taking a lot of electives? Does your school offer AP or IB credit? So looking at those components for what you're involved in inside and outside of the classroom, if that also means youth group, athletics. So those pieces are really important because again, every student situation is so individualized and Susquehanna is a very individualized experience. So making sure that we're replicating that through our application review process.
Well, I appreciate you talking about how the application review process is extremely individualized because
Mhm,
many times students they feel like they have to fit a certain profile,
mhm,
which you also have to take into account students that if everybody looks the same, then you're not really differentiating yourself. So,
mhm,
as Nicholas said, if you are a caregiver at home, right, for a family member, or if you
mhm,
hold a job, or whatever it
mhm,
is that is true to you, make sure that it comes through in that application so that they could get the full picture of who you are, not only academically, but as a potential community member once you're on
mhm,
that beautiful Susquehanna campus. So
mhm.
I know that Susquehanna University is in fact test optional, but many students and their families still feel that the test optional nature of college admissions is a myth. So, Nicola, can you share the percentage of students that did not submit test scores who were actually accepted?
Absolutely. So Susquehanna has been test score optional since the 90s. So it's definitely not something that we changed to through the craziness of the last couple of years. So it's something that our team is very prepared to evaluate applications, again, from that holistic review process. So about 50% of our applications came in as test score optional. So it is a large percentage of our incoming class. Students are still evaluated for honors as test optional students. Also, you are still eligible for the same merit scholarship amounts as well, which I like to note for students. So definitely that is not something we are unfamiliar with. We want to make sure that if students are proud of their scores and they want to submit those scores, they're absolutely able to. But if you feel that your high school transcript is a better academic representation of you, you do not need to submit your scores. You are still eligible for the same merit scholarship amounts.
Well, I appreciate the fact that you're talking about 50% of the students did not submit, and also the fact that you talked about how whether you submit the standardized test or not, you will still be considered for merit based scholarships. And
Mhm.
what's your institutional priority in terms of the number of freshmen you are looking to admit each year, of course, as an incoming class? And how many overall applications do you actually receive to try to fulfill that number?
Yeah, absolutely. So we look to receive approximately about 5,000 applications with a goal of enrolling a class of about 600.
So you get about 5,000 applications for that freshman class of 600. And, I mentioned that because I want students to understand that, there's only a certain amount of seats available in a college and you get so many. So many times a student might be frankly rejected and they think it's something that they did. Maybe it was their essay, maybe it was something that they missed in the application. But sometimes it's the institutional priority in terms of how many seats are available. So again, we appreciate you sharing that. And have you seen any recent trends in students' personal statements that frankly stand out? And could you share some tips for crafting a compelling essay?
Absolutely. So, for a compelling essay, this is a phenomenal opportunity to share something that you're not already going to be sharing through another aspect of your application. So, this is a great opportunity to talk about something that you're really proud of, that you accomplished, something that you've combated during your time. It doesn't have to be, though. So, I always like to tell students your college essay is not your diary. It does not have to be bearing your soul to your admission counselor. Your admission counselors are also mandated reporters. So, that's something really important that I like to stress to students, but it's a great way to share information that doesn't necessarily have to be something that was bad that happened to you that you have overcome. It can be something that you're just really excited about. It can be something about why you're passionate about an institution. It really is, again, going through that individualized approach. This is a way to come off of that piece of paper to your admission counselor to really get them to learn a little bit more about you that they're not going to get from a transcript or a recommendation letter from a school counselor or a teacher.
Understood. And you touched upon leadership roles a little bit earlier
Mhm.
when you talked about holding a job or being a caregiver. But how do you evaluate, for example, the extracurricular activities and those leadership roles in the overall application review? And has this aspect become more or less significant in recent years?
So the leadership opportunities as well as the extracurricular involvements that would appear on the application are really giving admission counselors a sense of how students interact with their peers as well as in their community. So those are the pieces that we're really looking for. And again, many times people think, well, I need a quantity of involvements. I'm really looking for the quality of involvements. Did you stay in something for XYZ amount of years? Did you really kind of move up within that club or organization to hold other roles because you were passionate and driven? Those are the things that we're really looking for in terms of extracurricular involvement. They don't have to be within a school. Say you really spend a lot of time in a youth group or within a sports team, and that takes up so much of your time. Really emphasize what that really looks like. Telling me that you play soccer is one thing, but telling me how you contribute to that team environment, that culture, the drive of the competitiveness and what that looks like for you is really going to give me a better idea of how you would then contribute to our community.
I appreciate that. And again, emphasizing the fact that, of course, you're looking at academics because, look, if you're
Mhm.
going to accept a student, you want to make sure that they could handle the rigors of the work in your classrooms. But it's also looking at how the student is going to contribute to your community. What kind of a roommate are they going to be? What kind of a classmate are they going
Mhm.
to be? What kind of a, person in the overall community are they going to be? So I think you're trying to say that it's really the quality, but not the quantity when looking at that activity sheet. So thank you so much for that. And what makes a letter of recommendation truly impactful? And have there been any notable examples recently that made a difference in an applicant's overall evaluation?
Yes. So letters of recommendation that are really impactful are ones that, similar to the essay, are sharing something that I wouldn't already learn about you. So if your letter of recommendation is just listing your involvements, I've seen that. That's awesome. And I'm glad that that is then shared in that way too. But it's really talking about, again, how you contribute to the community, how you are as a team member, how you are as leading a group of people, and what type of leader you are. Those are the ones that have been really impactful through the process, because also students find it really hard to brag about themselves. So it's an
Hmm.
opportunity for somebody else on your behalf to brag about you and the accomplishments that you've had. This is not the time to be humble. This is the time to say why you'd be a great fit for our communities. So those are the ones that are really impactful when they're sharing those additional individualized pieces about you where you're bragging about yourself.
Well, that's awesome. And again, it talks about the fact that there are multiple parts to an application and each part has to build on the next. So, whether it's a teacher letter of recommendation or anything else, for example, like your own essay, if you're just repeating what's on an activity sheet or perhaps what's easily found on a transcript, it really is a missed opportunity. You really want to go a little deeper than just listing, oh, they were part of this club and that club, which again could be found on the activity sheet, while being mindful again that you want to build upon each piece. So, what are the different ways a student could apply to Susquehanna? And is there a benefit to applying one way over the other in terms of being admitted or those merit based scholarships?
So we accept early decision, early action, and regular decision applications at Susquehanna. We also accept the common application as well as our own university application. Both are free to apply to Susquehanna too, so we don't have that financial barrier in play. There is not a merit financial benefit to applying one application over the other. They are completely need blind. So whether your family makes $1 bajillion or $2, are all evaluated there. So they are purely, if you are admitted to the institution, you are receiving a merit scholarship award.
Well, that's terrific and good to know. So, again, you have an early decision round, early action, regular decision, and I appreciate that. The application, regardless of whether you use the Common App or the Susquehanna University application, is free to apply for all
Mhm.
students. So, that's fantastic. So, it really seems like you have something for all of your students, both inside and outside of the classroom. But I was curious for those students that may have had an IEP or a 504 plan while in high school, what resources do you offer to help ensure that they continue to be successful and, of course, supported once they're on your campus?
So the individualized attention that we show through the application and through the college decision-making process extends to when you're a student on campus. So with our average class size being about 18, student to faculty ratio being 13 to 1, that also goes into our resources. So we have a Center for Academic Success here on campus, which not only offers free departmental tutoring for every department across campus, but also the Office of Disability Services is located within this office. And actually, our website does an incredible job on our disability services website in outlining all of the steps that students would need to take to be able to request accommodations on campus and whatever their needs might look like. So there's an official process, but it's really well laid out online so that you'd be prepared for completing all the documentation or the different things that would be necessary to transfer any academic accommodations if able.
Fantastic. And as you know, I always put the Office of Undergraduate Admissions in the show notes. So,
Mhm.
Nicola, if there are any other resources or links that you want to share with our listeners, please provide them to me. And of course, again, I'll put them in the show notes. Now, this has been an awesome conversation, but I have to ask you, are there any questions or any topics that, frankly, I didn't bring up yet that you'd like to share with us now? Because I want to make sure that we have a comprehensive overview of the awesome Susquehanna University.
Yes, absolutely. So I would say just some additional highlights kind of about the institution. I am a very proud 2019 Susquehanna graduate.
Hmm.
So this is something that I experienced as a student as well as I experience now. We are a Division III NCAA institution, so we have some very, very strong athletic programs at Susquehanna that have gone on to landmark conference championships, have gone on to NCAAs. But also we are known for our culturally immersive experiences. So we have a global opportunities program on campus where students are able to study away from campus for an entire semester or 2 to 5 weeks over their summer or their winter break in very experiential learning, internship, service based programs. which allows for them to again have that versatile education regardless of what you decide to do next. You're going to be working and thinking very differently than people that are around you potentially in the fields that you're in, regardless of what that looks like. So having that skill set is going to be really important to develop that when 17 to 22 is a huge time of personal and professional growth. So Susquehanna provides a lot of different opportunities and supports to assist you while you're going through that growth process.
Well, that's awesome. And I remember from our last conversation that for business students in the Weiss Business School in junior year, I believe it was, they all have to do a semester in England. Is that still true?
Yeah, so a lot of them will go for an entire semester, have a guaranteed 10-week international internship in
Wow.
addition to taking a full-time course load. So that is a very, very popular program. You're not required to do that in some areas
Okay.
of the business school, but in other areas of the business school, that is a very, very popular route that students will choose to go.
Right. Well, that's fantastic. And again, a great opportunity to get that global experience, which, why not? While you're in college, definitely take advantage
Mhm.
of that. So I really appreciate the clarity on that. And unfortunately, it does lead us to our last question, which is what are your top three pieces of advice that you would provide students and their families getting ready for the college admissions process?
Oh my goodness, I could write a whole book on advice that I would provide to students. I would definitely say some of the biggest things. I'm a first generation student, which, if you don't know what first generation means, it means that your parents might not have gone through a college process. It can be very intimidating for a first generation student because you feel like you should know certain things, and there is no such thing. That is why there is admission counselors. That is why there are support systems in colleges at place. So please don't ever think that something is a silly question. Your admission counselors want to make sure that you're informed about the decision that you're making. So, getting all of that information so that you can make a good decision on what's going to be the best fit for you would be one of my biggest piece of advice. I would also say this is supposed to be fun. It might not feel like it because it's overwhelming and there's so many things going on that you might not be have experienced before or might not know how to navigate just yet. But utilizing your admission counselors, utilizing if the school offers admitted student days or opportunities for overnight visits or personalized visits where you can go sit in on a class, as many as you are physically able to do. I always recommend that students take advantage of those opportunities because fit is such an important piece. So a school can have all the right rankings and they can have your program and they can have your sports team. But if you are going to class and you don't feel like you fit or that you don't see yourself in a lot of different spaces, that is a really important feeling to acknowledge, because that is what's going to shape your experience. Like, this is the place that you're living, eating, making friends, socializing, going to class. So making sure that you feel really supported and that you'll have a place there is going to be really important. And then the last piece of advice I will give is many students that I work with. I've recruited New York, Southeast Pennsylvania, Lancaster, Northeast Pennsylvania. I now currently recruit more of the Central Pennsylvania and Luzerne County. So I've worked with a ton of different populations of student. There is a big fear of making the wrong choice. And the biggest advice I have for that is you can always change your mind. You're not going to know if it's the right or the wrong choice until you go and experience it. So, although that might be scary about not making what could be the right choice or the wrong choice, there are processes to make sure that you're able to change if you need to change or really get to experience everything. But that is always the biggest thing is I'm always guiding students on you're not going to know until you try it. And let's just make sure you have all the information to make the best decision with the information that you have now. And gosh forbid you need other information later. We'll help you through that process at that time too. So definitely have fun. Know that your choice is not the end all be all, and utilize your admission counselors at whatever institution that you're looking at. They are here to support you and make sure you have all the information you need.
Well, that's awesome. Definitely try to have fun throughout the process,
Mhm.
utilize your admissions representatives, and also work to try to find that fit. So, in terms of trying that fit, what could you say about the importance of visiting campus or maybe
Mhm.
even participating in any virtual events that Susquehanna University offers?
Absolutely. So I am actually our full-time event planner. So I am always encouraging students to visit. Not only do we have open house opportunities that are a little bit broader, we also specifically at Susquehanna will have admitted student days that are some broader admitted student days where you'll get to meet with clubs and organization members, different resources across campus. But we also have school-specific admitted student days. So if you're an admitted student really interested in business and want to have a very focused business opportunity,
Hmm.
and have an admitted day focused on that. We have those opportunities for the School of Natural and Social Sciences, for the Schools of Arts and Humanities. So there's lots of different different avenues that students can make sure that they're, again, receiving all the information they need. We do have virtual programming as well for students to get to experience. Like our honors program will have a virtual webinar. So for students that are invited to that program, they'll be able to get their questions answered there. But also your admission counselors, we do virtual meetings too. So say from an accessibility perspective that you're not able to attend admitted student day or come to campus, you absolutely can still utilize avenues to make sure you're getting all of the information that you possibly can. We have students from all over the United States we have an international population here at Susquehanna too. So for students that aren't able to visit or their first time to campus is move-in day, just making sure that you feel like you have as best of an idea as you can about what campus is before you get here.
Well, that's terrific. I'm glad I asked that. And this has been phenomenal. Obviously, Susquehanna is so lucky to have you, as were we, on this podcast episode. Nickala, I do hope to have you again in the future. Thank you so much for your time and expertise today.
Thank you so much, John. This has been a pleasure. So I really enjoyed having the opportunity to speak with you.
The pleasure is all ours. And to everyone out there, good luck with the college search. Take care, all, and best wishes. Thank you for joining us on this episode of the CAP, the College Admissions Process Podcast. We hope you enjoyed the show. If you did, please don't forget to tell a friend and follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and wherever you listen to your podcasts. I am your host, John Durante, and I look forward to seeing you on the next episode of the CAP. Hey, podcast friends, if you've been enjoying the College Admissions Process Podcast, I'm excited to share my new book, Straight from the Admissions Office, Insider Strategies for College Applications. It's packed with insights and tips from over 250 podcast episodes with admissions professionals designed to make the college process less overwhelming. Whether you're a student, parent, or college counselor, it's a valuable resource for navigating the admissions process. By grabbing a copy, you're also helping to support the podcast. The links are in the show notes. Thank you, and best wishes to all with the college admissions process.